So let us resume our earlier lecture. We were discussing in the last lecture the topic of returns. Uh, we have covered three sections in returns: section 37, 38, and section 39. Section 37 talks about information of outward supplies. Section 38 talks about information of inward supply, and section 39 is a comprehensive section. It talks about so many information, not only outward and inward supply, but other information also. So next section, after section 37, 38, and 39, let us discuss section number 40. So let me share this screen with you. Section 40 is first return. Section 40 talks about first return. I think you can share this screen. You can see this screen. Is this screen Word file visible clearly? Kindly reply through chat window. Is this Word file clearly seen? Okay, great. First return. Section 40 is first return. I am skipping section 40 for the time being. I'm coming directly to section 44. It is relevant. Section 40 I will discuss with you later. Let us discuss 44. Annual return. If you remember, section 37 is monthly return or quarterly return, depending upon the case. Section 38 talks about monthly return. Section 39 talks about monthly return or quarterly return. But neither section 37, 38, or 39 talks about annual returns. 44, section 44 talks about annual returns also. That is why initially when GST came, so many businessmen were complaining about so many returns. And that is why their expenses which they pay to their accountant has increased so many times. Earlier, if the accountant was charging around 10,000 or 12,000 yearly, now the same accountant has been charging around 8 to 9,000 monthly. So the expenses which a small businessman was incurring for accountant expense, that has been increased by around 7 to 8 times. Why? Because so many procedures of returns. So businessman is supposed to file not only monthly return but also annual return. Monthly returns are mentioned in section 37, 38, 39. Except some exceptions where you have quarterly returns also, otherwise you have monthly or quarterly maximum. But annual returns are also necessary, and those are mentioned in section 44. So let me discuss with you annual return mentioned in section 44. Let me discuss with you with the help of this table, simplified table. We have discussed this table up to which point? GSTR 1, 2, 3, 3B, 4, 5, 5A, 6, 7, and 8. And now I have left this one line blank. Why? Because technically my section 38 is over. After this one blank line, whatever GSTR forms are given, those are annual forms, not monthly or quarterly forms. So my first GSTR form is form GSTR 9, annual return. And when I use the word annual return, do you know which section should click in your mind? 44. At the moment you listen this word annual return, you must start thinking about section 44 of the GST. GSTR 9 talks about annual return. By whom? Every person. Again, other than these 6. So annual return has to be filed by every registered person except these 6. So who are these special persons mentioned at serial number 5, 7, 8, 9, and a casual taxable person. Ignore this word casual taxable person. Let me show you first who are mentioned at serial number 5, 7, 8, 9. At serial number 5, this is serial. Do not check form number, it is serial number. So this first column is serial number. So who is that serial number 5? Non-resident taxable person. This person is not required to furnish annual return. Then who is that 7 serial number? ISD. Input service distributor is not required to furnish this GSTR 9. Then 8 number. Deductor TDS not required to furnish this GSTR 9. And then this is TCS, electronic commerce operator. This person is required to submit annual return but not under GSTR 9. For this we have a separate GSTR form. That's it. I simply wanted to show you that filing annual return is mandatory under section 44 through which form? GSTR 9 for every person except who? Except at serial number 5 the person was non-resident. At serial number 7 the person was input service distributor. At 8 the person is tax deductor of tax, and at 9 the person is collector of tax. Apart from these 4, even a casual taxable person who comes to India not on regular basis but very casually, that person is also not supposed to furnish any annual return. Now the due date of all those people are 31st December of next financial year. And if you remember, in so many numerical questions I have discussed this date, 31st December of next financial year. If I am in financial year 18-19, then what is the due date of furnishing my annual return? 31st December 2020, because of this GSTR 9. That's it. So I'm talking about GSTR 9 annual return. I'm deriving this power through section 44 of the Act. Every person has to furnish annual return except non-resident, input service distributors, deductor of tax, tax collected at source people, and a casual taxable person. Others have to furnish their annual information, and the due date is 31st December of the next financial year. For composition levy people, those people are also required to furnish their annual return, but their form number is different. Their form number is 9A. That's it. Due date is again same, but for composition levy person, the annual return form number is different. It is 9A. Due date is same, 31st December of the next financial year. Then we have another form, 9B. I told you it is for electronic commerce operator. Every electronic commerce operator who has collected some tax from the supplier of goods or services is not required to furnish annual return under GSTR 9, because for this person we have a special form, GSTR 9B. But GSTR 9B is not applicable in India right now. To keep these people electronic commerce operator, to maintain so many records, for the time being government has kept this form pending. Maybe tomorrow or maybe after some time they will make this form also mandatory for these electronic commerce operators also. For the time being, electronic commerce operators are not required to furnish any statement on annual basis, because Act says that they have to furnish their statement through GSTR 9B, but to keep this GST simple for the time being, it has not been made or not yet been notified for the electronic commerce operator. But you must know that for electronic commerce operator who have collected some tax at source are required to furnish their return on monthly basis also under section 39, and on annual basis also under section 44. Under 44, they are required to submit their annual information through GSTR 9B, but it has not been made operational till today. That's it. It is also annual statement. And last section 44 form is 9C. 9C. It is for special people. Special means whose turnover exceeds 2 crore and who has to get their accounts audited under GST laws. That means these are big businessmen whose turnover exceeds 2 crore and they are required to have their accounts audited. For these people, you don't have, for annual return, you don't have GST or 9A or 9B. For them, you have 9C along with 9. So 9C is basically not a return, it is reconciliation statement. It has to be submitted along with GSTR 9. For these people, to furnish the return or information on annual basis, they are required to submit two forms, 9 as well as 9C. That's it. So my section 44 is complete. Again, listen. Section 44 gives you four forms. GSTR 9 for every person except non-resident, except input service distributor, except deductors of tax at source, except collectors of tax at source, except casual taxable person. For these people, they have to furnish their annual return by 31st December of the next financial year. Then GSTR 9A, again annual return by 31st December of the next financial year only for composition levy people. That means a composition levy subscriber or payer will not file GSTR 9. That person has to file GSTR 9A. 9B, electronic commerce operator who has collected the tax. That person is also supposed to furnish the information on annual basis under GSTR 9B, not in 9. But for the time being, 9B has not been made operational. And last, GSTR 9C, for rich people basically, for big business houses whose turnover exceeds 2 crore and who are required to get their accounts audited from a chartered accountant. Those people have to give their information in 9 as well as under 9C. That's it. It makes my section 44 complete, annual return. Any problem you please ask. Then I will proceed to next sections. Any problem you please ask. Through chat window you can give your reply. Any problem you please ask. Kindly reply through chat window if you have any problem or not. Is GSTR 9, 9A, 9B, 9C clear? We have covered section 44 also of return. Any problem you please ask me. Reply through chat window. Shall I proceed? Any problem in section 44? Annual return GSTR 9, 9A, 9B, 9C. There are four forms of annual return in India under section 44. Okay, let me proceed. Next section 45, final return. Section 45 is final return. As the name suggests, final return. That means this person is going to wind up his or her business. That is why that person is supposed to file final return. It is GSTR 10. Every person who is required to furnish a return under section 39 but whose registration has been cancelled. Every person who is supposed to furnish the return under section 39. Section 39 talks about monthly return. Only in one case it talks about quarterly return. Composition levy scheme taxpayer, otherwise monthly return. Every person who is supposed to furnish monthly return under section 39 but whose registration has been cancelled, that person is required to furnish final return under section 45 and the due date is within 3 months from the date of cancellation or order of cancellation, whichever is later. So government gives you 3 months time that you please furnish your final return. And why do you know why it is necessary to ask this person to furnish final return? Because whatever this person has stock, closing stock, and if that person has taken input tax credit on this closing stock, government will demand that input tax credit availed back from this registered person. Final return has to be filed in special case for any person who is supposed to furnish the return under section 39 but whose registration has been cancelled. That person has to furnish final return under section 45. And last form in India of GST is GSTR 11. GSTR 11. It is basically filed by those people who do not have any GSTIN number but who have UIN, unique identification number. Do you remember this UIN concept? So many people like embassies, foreign embassies in India. When embassies purchase anything from the market, they will pay some tax. But these embassies get the product tax free. So whatever tax they have paid when they have purchased something, they can get the refund from the government. So these embassies or any person who has unique identification number, if that person wants to get any refund, that person has to furnish GSTR 11 and there is no due date. Because this GSTR 11 always talks about a refund. It never talks about the tax which has to be paid, because the person who are exempt in India to pay any GST, those people are getting unique identification number so that when they purchase something, they will pay some tax to their supplier or to the shopkeeper. That amount they can claim as a refund from the government by furnishing GSTR 11. And there is no due date. Why? Because government cannot impose any due date for those people who have to take the refund. So government says whenever you want refund, you furnish your this GSTR 11. That's it. So it is furnished on quarterly basis. If you want, it's your choice. If you want refund, furnish this GSTR 11. My return forms are complete. Now I will show you the entire chapter. But in case you have any problem in GSTR return forms, you can ask. We have covered GSTR 1, 2, 3, 3B, 4, 5, 5A, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9A, 9B, 9C, 10, 11. That's it. Any problem in form numbers, you please ask me. I have covered the concept of return except some points which I will discuss with you in detail now. Hurry up, if you have any problem, you please ask me. Kindly reply through chat window. Shall I proceed? Shall I proceed? Okay, let me discuss. So rather than discussing the table now, let me discuss with you the concepts. I have covered section 37, outward supply. Do you know which return form is this? It is GSTR 1. That's it. This is what you need to learn in GSTR 1. That 37 talks about outward supply, furnished GSTR 1. Section 38 talks about inward supply, furnished GSTR 2. For the time being, GSTR 2 is on hold in India. It is inward supply, section 38. '39 is the main section. It talks about monthly return or quarterly return. Quarterly return only in case of composition levy scheme taxpayer, otherwise monthly returns. It is GSTR 3. In case any extension is not given under GSTR 1 or 2, then you cannot furnish any extension is given under GSTR 1 or 2, then you cannot furnish GSTR 3. You have to furnish GSTR 3B. That's it. For composition levy scheme subscriber or taxpayer, it is GSTR 4 quarterly. For a person who is required to deduct tax at source, it is GSTR 7. But section is same, 39. You have only different subsections. For input service distributor, again, GSTR 6, section 39, subsection 4. Non-resident, GSTR 5. OIDAR services, GSTR 5A. Unique identification number, people, GSTR 11. So these are the details, but that table is sufficient for you. For your course, that table is sufficient. Now this is first written, this concept I have not discussed, section 40. Now if you remember, I told you in the classes, the day my turnover exceeds 20 lakh rupees. Suppose if I'm in Delhi and my turnover exceeds 20 lakh rupees today, or maybe on 7th Jan 2020, I should apply for registration within 30 days. It is compulsory. Now, today my turnover on 7th Jan, my turnover exceeds 20 lakh. And I applied for registration, but it will take some time to get registration certificate. So that period during which my turnover exceeded 20 lakh until the day I get my registration certificate, for that period, I need to file first return under section 40. You can read it. Every registered person who has made outward supplies in the period during the period, every registered person who has made outward supplies during the period between the date on which he became liable to registration till the date on which registration has been granted has to declare the information in the first return furnished by this person after getting registration certificate. That's it. This is what you need to learn under section 40. That's it. Annual return, section 44 we have covered. In section 44 there are 4 forms: GSTR 9, 9A and 9B and 9C. 9B is not yet applicable in India, but we have 9C. Then we have covered final return, section 45. Those people who are required to furnish their return under section 39, but whose registration has been cancelled, has to furnish final return under section 45. That's it. There is no need to do section 46. You can ignore it. There is no need to do section 46. Section 47 is relevant. If you do not furnish your return on time, then you have to pay a fine of 100 rupees per day. Maximum fine is 5,000. Now next concept. Within return, next section is section 150. It is a separate section. Let me wind it up. Section 150 makes it obligatory on some other people to furnish your information. You must have listened from your parents, if your parents are in business, that in saving account bank, let us not deposit the amount exceeding 10 lakh or 20 lakh or 40 lakh. Why? Because the information will be directly sent by this bank to the income tax department. When you purchase any property, registration is done at sub-registrar office of any state. If your property value exceeds a particular limit, that register office by default will send this information to the income tax department. Same is the case here in GST laws also. We have section 15050. Goods and Services Tax, CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom. Now GST department comes under CBIC. They can demand any information under section 150 about you from any third party. For example, what? They can demand, GST department can demand any information of yours from other parties, like from income tax department, from bank, from electricity company if your consumption has exceeded some limit, from registrar office where you go for registration of properties, from registrar of companies, from motor vehicle authorities, from stock exchanges, from officer of RBI, etc., etc. That means section 150 makes it obligatory on some people that if GST department demands information from you of any third party, you have to give it. So what can I say with the help of this? So let me explain this with the help of this board. I hope this board is visible. This is a bank. Okay, I am a registered person, Mr. X. I am a registered person, Mr. X. And I have bank account. I have bank account with this bank, PNB, Punjab National Bank, for example. GST department under section 150 can ask this bank to furnish all the transactions, which are done by me. This is the relevance of section 150. It is the obligation of PNB to give the information about Mr. X. All the transactions related to Mr. X done in PNB to the GST, Goods and Services Tax Department. It is what? Obligatory to furnish return. This PNB has to furnish the information to GST department under section 150 about transactions done by Mr. X in this PNB. That's it. This is the relevance of section 150. This is the relevance of section 150. Is it clear? Section 150 makes it obligatory to furnish information return. That is known as information return. Some people have to furnish the return if asked by GST department about any particular person. This is my section 150. It is information return. That's it. The last section of return is GSTP, section 48, GST practitioner. Do you remember under income tax department, if you have to furnish your return, income tax return, if you do not have the knowledge, then you can appoint TRP, tax return preparers. They will furnish your return. Same is the case here. If as a businessman you do not know how to furnish the return, you can appoint GST practitioner to furnish your return under section 48. That's it. It is my topic return. My topic return is over. If you have any doubt in topic return, you please ask. I will wait for 2 minutes. If you have any doubt through chat window, you can ask me. The topic of return is over from my side. Any problem in the topic return, you please ask me. So now one problem is in case of GSTR forms, do we have to learn all the theory which you have shown apart from the table of GSTR forms, or will learning the contents of the table will do? I think learning the contents of table are sufficient for your level. In the past 2 years examinations, they have never asked you the detail. You are supposed to learn the due date under section 44. That is necessary. Section 44 is annual return and the due date of furnishing annual return is 31st December of the financial year. I expect that you should learn the contents rather than the theory. There is no need to learn that theory. Except one. In section 39 and in section 44, as far as the contents are concerned, other than this table, somewhere I have shown you will get this, that which form is applicable, which form is not applicable to whom. That theory only you should learn. Like, let me tell you in detail. In section 39, you are not supposed to learn any theory. Content of table is sufficient. In section 38 also, you are not supposed to learn any theory. Contents of table are sufficient. So in 39 also, contents of table are sufficient. No need to learn the theory. First return, you have to learn the theory of section 40. First return. You have to learn the theory of section 40. First return. It's only 3-line theory. That's it. Annual return, you have to learn the theory also. In case of annual return section 44, you should learn the theory of annual return also. So you have to learn the theory of two sections, 40 and 44. Then you should learn section 150 also, obligation to furnish information return. But only read it, because I'm not expecting any question from section 150, but you must be having knowledge so that if the question comes in theory of 5 or 7 marks about information return, you must know, you at that time you would be able to write the answer that it is about those people where information can be demanded from third party. That's it. So do not learn section 150 in detail. Learn it from theory point of view, maximum 5 to 7 marks. That's it. Any other doubt? Any other doubt in the topic return? Return is a little bit technical chapter. If you have any doubt, you please ask me. Okay, so that's sufficient now. Now you tell me, I think I have covered the topic of registration, not in online lectures, but in class, when we were in class. Am I right? Have we covered the topic registration? Can anyone reply through chat window if they remember? Had we covered the topic registration or not? I think I have covered registration. I may be wrong. You please reply. Had we covered registration already or not? Okay, can you tell me how many? Okay, someone is replying that we have covered up to section 24. Had we covered registration till section 24? Okay, time is going to be over very soon. Let us wind up this class. And you please reply about registration in detail on my WhatsApp number. Please reply, because I have to take a decision how much I need to cover now. The time is going to be over. Goodbye. We will meet you. I will meet you tomorrow with a new topic, with a new concept, either from unit 1 or unit 5 or unit 4. So most probably I will discuss with you tomorrow remaining topics of unit 2, 3 and 4. I need confirmation of registration. So kindly reply on my WhatsApp number Registration is a lengthy chapter. It starts from section 22, it goes on till section 30. I need to have the exact knowledge of the section numbers which I have covered. Kindly reply on my WhatsApp number. Goodbye.